Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Heidi from My Reading Life, and I'm here today to film a video, one of my favorite videos to film every year, and that is the announcement of a reading event that happens in May. And that reading event is Springathon. I am delighted to announce that I will be co-hosting again Springathon in the month of May with my co-hosts Natalie from Curious Reader and Doris from Aldi Books. And this is a readathon that's been ongoing for a couple of years now, where we take an opportunity in May to encourage everyone to read books of nature writing. So you already know how much I love nature writing, science writing, books of that sort. And this is a readathon that is all about our love of nature writing. And in order to participate in Springathon, all you need to do is to read one book of nature writing. And that can be nonfiction, poetry, fiction, whatever you like, just a book that has nature writing in it. So this readathon is going to run from May 1st through May 14th this year, the first 2 weeks of May. And we do have some prompts. You don't need to use the prompts. The prompts are just a fun way to try to incorporate some different books into your reading life. So I'm going to go through the prompts, and then I'm going to give you some recommendations for a book or two that might fit each of those prompts. So I need to put on my reading glasses so I can read my notes to myself. So we have 4 prompts this year. The 4 prompts are color, craft, capture, and caring. And so for color, the very first one, these are colors, it could be colors found in nature like sky blue or moss green, or it could be anything that is vibrant or reminds you of colors that you find in nature. So the color could be on the cover of the book or in the title. But I actually went a different way from that to talk about color, and I picked a recommendation, An Immense World by Yong, How Animal Senses Reveal the Hidden Realms Around Us. And this book is all about animal senses, and one of those senses, of course, is sight. And so this book discusses how animals see the world, how they see color, whether or not they see the same colors that we do. Maybe they perceive them differently than we do. And there's lots of stuff in here about color. So I thought this would be a great recommendation for the first prompt. Also, this is a fantastic book. Nature writing, science writing. I really, really love this book. I love Ed Yong in general as a writer. The second prompt is craft. And for craft, that's something that is inspired by or utilizes nature. And for that, I'm picking The Feather Thief, Beauty, Obsession, and the Natural History Heist of the Century by Kirk, Wallace Johnson. And this is a book in which the person that's being discussed in this book was a man who stole bird feathers from natural history museums. The feathers were used in fly tying to create flies for fly fishing. And this book is all about people's obsession with using bird feathers for fly tying throughout history, in the current day, and this one particular person who stole rare, valuable, one-of-a-kind feathers from a museum. Excellent book. I do love Kurt Wallace Johnson as well. The third prompt is capture. So for capture, that's an illustrated or book of photography or somehow a visual representation of nature. It could also be something that captures the essence of nature, like poetry or something like that. My recommendation for this prompt is a book that I read a couple of years ago. This is actually translated graphic nonfiction. So this is Atlas of Poetic Zoology by Emmanuelle, Pouydebat, and it is translated from the French by Eric Butler. And this is a wonderful book that is kind of a book that describes different creatures in the natural world, has beautiful and cool illustrations, which I am having a look at that one. That is Zoanthus bouquets, radioactive dragon eye coral. So these are all sort of rare or unusual species with a beautiful full page illustration, and then a write-up of 2 or 3 pages about each of these animals or other kinds of critters. And I just absolutely love this. I think for one thing, it's absolutely beautiful. And for another thing, it has a whole bunch of interesting information about species that I knew very little about. So very much recommend that for the capture prompt. And then lastly is the caring prompt. And for this, it could be caring for a pet, caring for seeds, caring for ecosystems, caring for your community, however you want to interpret that. And I would like to recommend an author for this, and that author is Hope Jahren. The first book I read by her was Lab Girl. This is her memoir of growing up and wanting to become a scientist and trying to establish her own lab. Hope Jahren studies forest ecosystems, and so she cares very deeply for the soil and for trees and forests and how those things interact together, and her lab is all involved in research around those areas. It's a wonderful, wonderful book. Really amazing person and author. And then she also wrote this book, The Story of More, How We Got to Climate Change and Where to Go From Here. And this is all about caring for the earth in this time of climate change. And this book, actually, you can see I've tabbed it. Not only do I really love Hope Jaren's writing in this as well, lots of interesting and informative information about climate change, but she's really funny in this book as well. Like, she tells personal anecdotes in this book that really made me laugh out loud. So that's a great author for the prompt caring. Now, I am also putting together, of course, a TBR for Springathon, and later on in the month of April, I'll be coming back to you with another video with my TBR for Springathon. But until then, I wanted to get this announcement out there. I will also link below my co-host videos. I'll link their channels down below so you can at least go and see their videos that they'll be posting announcing Springathon and what they have to say about it. I hope you will all join us for some nature writing. Of course, we will also have the Book Naturalist Book Club pick for the month of May, which is an author spotlight on Sonia Shah. So lots of nature writing happening in the month of May. I hope you will join us for some of that. And please let me know down below if you participated in Springathon in the past, or if you think you might participate with us this year. I'd love to hear about it, and I will talk to you later.